Hello, and welcome to Sonic Bytes, the freewheeling conversation interview series for the eclectic music lover. This week we're taking a trip down memory lane discussing everything Christmas. From Nat King Cole and Frank Sinatra to Michael Bublé and Taylor Swift, we break down exactly what makes a Christmas song sound the way it does, and also discuss some of our favourite Christmas songs from times gone by. As always, if you're enjoying the podcast, it would mean the absolute world if you could follow us on Apple, Spotify or Stitcher, or subscribe to us on YouTube, as it really goes a long way to helping support the channel and allows us to make even more freewheeling content. We've only got one more episode to wrap up season 1, which is our year in review coming after Christmas, so make sure you stay tuned for that one as well. We hope you enjoy the episode. Oh man, this is an interesting one.
It's been a while since it's been just the two of us.
It has, hasn't it? It's been literally like almost 11 weeks since we did one, just the two of us.
How many interviews have we done now? It's since episode 10.
Yeah, and we're on episode 22, so we've done 11 into. Oh no, because Min was 2, so we've done 10 episodes. But it's been good, man. I've really enjoyed talking to all of our musical guests and just sort of getting. It's really opened my eyes to. So many different things, like it's having your head sort of pulled in, hundreds of different directions each time, sort of talking to people and having different ideas and people doing different, takes on things and stuff. It's been awesome. How have you found it?
It's been really good. Obviously I didn't really know what to expect before we went on this tirade of finding out everything about some of our close musical acquaintances, but just for our maybe 4 regular listeners, this is we're doing this not because we've run out of guests, but we just really want to do one of these duo episodes just to end off the year, I guess.
Exactly. And it's been it's been a heck of a journey, like considering the way we wouldn't really expect anything when we started doing the podcast. It was just kind of to see what happened. We didn't really have like an end date or anything or any ideas in mind. We're just going to sort of start and see how we went. And we managed to keep to aside from last week where we planned to have a break, we did 21 episodes straight off, didn't miss a week. It was really good. It was really good fun. It was nice to have a deadline sort of to work to every week and to have content to bring out and sort of to, we've gotten good at editing. We've gotten good at making sort of visual memes. We've gotten good at introductions, adding music over it. There's so many things that so many skills that have been developed that we didn't even know how to think to do before, which is really cool.
Yeah, the fact that we can put the episode together pretty quickly is pretty cool as well. Yeah, and I guess we should probably save that for our 2020 in review episode.
Yes, we should, which is coming in 2 weeks' time.
But I guess now it's Christmas and I guess the plan is to take a bit of a break to start off the new year.
Yes, definitely.
With the podcast.
Sort of bring things into review and think about them and come back fighting.
Yeah. I guess, I don't know. This is the Christmas episode. If you hadn't noticed by my jumper and Leo's obvious Christmas
spirit
things, you can see it in his eyes.
Yeah.
His eyes are actually made of sleigh bells.
Yeah, you can see if I shake my head, you'll start hearing bells. I really. Is it? Oh, it's a very Wolfie Christmas. Of course it is.
Yeah. Well, this was actually an album that came out last year. So Woody Goss, the keyboardist, he has quite a wide range of influences as a pianist, and he recorded a jazz trio album, which he's capable of doing because obviously he's amazing. And but it was basically jazz trio versions of Wolfpack tunes, and then called it A Very Wolfie Christmas. And as you can see, it's designed after. So this is Wolfpack, but designed after Snoopy Peanuts. And which is a homage to the Vince Guaraldi trio Christmas album. Amazing.
Right.
Yeah. Which is I forgot if it's actually to do with the Christmas film. There must have been a Peanuts Christmas film or maybe it's just a Peanuts film. It basically accompanies that. So it's got the original Christmas time is here. Sorry, that's song is from that soundtrack, I think.
My dad's the biggest Peanuts fan. in the world.
Really?
There's they had it last year. They actually it must have been around a similar time. They had like a Peanuts exhibition in London where they had it was really, they had obviously all the models and all the famous sort of like issues and everything, and it had the I can't remember the guy who's the author, but they had his like they had basically his life and everything sort of like in cartoons and stuff. And just sort of like, you know, just like how he sort of came up with the ideas and sort of like how he, you know, released everything. And then there was loads of like really nice memorabilia and stuff that we got my dad for Christmas. So yeah, he really enjoyed that. I think he had quite a lot of like fond childhood memories, you know, with the Peanut like comics and the cartoons and everything.
Yeah, it's weird because it's very Christmassy, but I guess Peanuts in its essence and like Snoopy and all that, Charlie Brown and all that stuff isn't like originally Christmas stuff. It just kind of ballooned into, I guess the Christmas, like I guess the Christmas songs blow up a bit, and that album is quite a classic in terms of jazz Christmas music.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because like I think a lot of like speaking of that and sort of like Christmas songs, like a lot of kind of like old timey Christmas. I say old timey, sort of like, you know, from the 1940s and 50s. Like that does seem to be where a lot of the like the classic versions of the Christmas songs that we know, like a lot of them are kind of jazz tunes, sort of like if you think about sort of Nat King Cole and Frank Sinatra and people like that, sort of like obviously they're covering sort of, you know, sort of timeless classics, but sort of like the sort of accepted versions, at least to my mind, you know, like if you're thinking of like I'm trying to think of the name of the song, like into like sort of like chestnuts roasting on open fire and things like that. Like it's the Nat King Cole version that sticks. Obviously there are other, you know, versions and covers and reimaginations of them, but like that seems to be sort of like where the Christmas canon, the modern Christmas canon's kind of started, you know, like with jazz. I mean, and then it's obviously
I would say that is like actually just Christmas music, like full stop, you know. Obviously you have newer versions of Christmas, and I guess we'll talk about that in a bit. But in terms of, I guess one of the big questions in terms of Christmas music as a musician, or like analyzing it, is sort of what makes it sound Christmassy. Like, why does White Christmas sound like Christmas music? I don't know if you've been down that like small YouTube hole where a bunch of those like Adam Neely types analyze like what exactly makes. I think there was like this Vox article that basically tried to say that the D minor 7 flat 5 was the chord that made Christmas music Christmas sounding. I don't know if you've seen that video. But
that's really interesting.
Yeah, and it was a bit weird. Like Adam Neely debunked it, that they didn't actually consult any musicologist in order to make that statement. They interviewed like a journalist who had a bit of a weird explanation of why D minor 7 flat 5, which is the all I want for Christmas, that chord, right? Apparently that was made it sound Christmassy.
Sorry.
But then it's weird because that like basically Adam and Neely doesn't agree. Like chords without context don't really have, like, you can't say that D minor 7 like or G7 sounds Christmassy, you know. It has to have some sort of musical context in order for it to you know, sound like something.
I mean, like to the untrained ear, like you wouldn't hear like that. You wouldn't hear like sort of and be like, oh yeah, that's Christmas.
Exactly.
Like straight away.
Like it could just as well be, you know, just like a song in a really sad jazz song or something.
Precisely.
And apparently a lot of old, like the Christmas songs actually come from a very sad context. Like nowadays you think of it as like sleigh bells and sort of happy, like major key, positive holiday season sort of things. But when, I guess a lot of the songs from like the 40s and the 50s and the 30s even, when those Christmas songs were being written, like I forgot which song it was that Adam Neely cited, but basically the original lyrics were like super sad and sort of it's Christmas and it's nice to be able to spend it with family this Christmas, but I also want to spend it with my family next Christmas. And something like that. I might have gotten my research mixed up, but anyway, yeah, like they originally have some sort of like bittersweet context to it, but obviously now it's ballooned into this commercial phenomenon that is Christmas.
Yeah, yeah. I think Christmas songs are. I was chatting to my wife about this, and we were saying that like Christmas songs they're interesting because like she was saying, well, they never get old. And the reason is because like they're only played at Christmas, and so there's sort of like there's a window of maybe mid-November to the end of December when they get played, so sort of 6 weeks at a time. And so I think they have this weird kind of, obviously and it's cumulative and it builds up over time. They have this sort of like collective nostalgia that kind of builds. Because obviously the more years pass, the more years you hear the same songs, and then like if a new Christmas song comes out, all of a sudden like it has an increasing amount of sort of nostalgia and sort of like establishment to compete with each time. Because if you think like I've listened to some of the stuff that's come out this year, and it's kind of like, to me it doesn't sound like Christmas, but it's only because obviously I've had 25 years of listening to the same Christmas songs over and over again, and so anything that's added to that each time obviously then comes as a bit of a, like it goes against what you're sort of used to hearing. It'd be kind of like all of a sudden if 1 year we're like, oh, Christmas trees are going to be red this year, like everyone would be like, well, you'd find it really strange. But then like obviously if you were the child of the first year of having red Christmas trees, and then like from then like every time it came around you'd get that feeling of like, oh, it's Christmas time again, break out the red Christmas trees. And it's the same with listening to I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas, and even for us, I mean, like they spoke about All I Want for Christmas Is You. This year it hit number one in the UK for the first time, like 26 years after its release. Mariah Carey's song, but obviously that came out in 1994. So like for us, that's for me at least, that's been Christmas, because it's 26 years old and I'm 25. So like I've had that for my entire life. Whereas obviously some people, or anyone who's older than me, who's born in 1994, 1993, there would have been a year where they didn't have that as part of their Christmas experience. So like,
I guess it's objectively hard to make a new Christmas hit. Like it's possible, like before All I Want for Christmas Is You, there was nothing, as in like that song didn't exist. It didn't exist. It had to break through somehow. But yeah, I guess with the more the years go by, like most Christmas songs that are released nowadays are covers. You have new Christmas songs, obviously. Like this year, there's like 21 Pilots released a Christmas song, and I know like one of my favorite Christmas songs, which spoiler alert for later, but it's like is Volfek's Christmas in LA. And so like all these songs are like coming out. People are recording new Christmas related songs about the same topics, I guess. But I guess that for it, everyone feels like everyone's like fixed upon like, is this Christmas song going to be a number one hit? And if it's not, then it's a failure. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's room to be a bit more explorative and less conservative, I think. As much as like it's not binning old Christmas music, but there's I mean it will come around every year and people will make new Christmas songs, so why not as artists make the most of it,
Yeah, exactly. I think it's like, it's just one of those weird like and I agree actually, like there is some fantastic Christmas music out there and sort of stuff that comes out every year, like I love Christmas in LA by Volfek. It's absolutely fantastic. But like again, it's sort of I think also now, especially with with the way that sort of music is listened to and the way that people's tastes can differ so wildly because of the sort of the proliferation of streaming platforms and sort of the very personal experience you can have of music.
Sure.
I think it's a lot harder for a song, like there's just more things for a song to break through now. And also if you think about like radio stations and places where you do hear music played, if you go shopping, like most shopping centers will play, there'll be a Christmas, they'll play Christmas music, radios will play Christmas music, and like, so it's always there. But obviously like they're playing what they think people want to hear as well. And so like obviously that continues to reinforce the same song sort of over and over again. And so you have that, and you've also got to then break through the fact that like, that if someone released a Christmas song now, it would have to be so big that, you know, it would have to reach everyone or enough people collectively for it to be like
part of the canon of Western music, like Christmas
out
culture.
of the canon of Western pop music. Sorry, like that. Like there's a lot for it. There's a lot of stuff for it to cut through to kind of like make it to the established canon of Christmas songs. I think the only person original ones, I think the only person sort of like in recent times that I can think who made a dent, at least it might not be even in Western, just like in the UK, just from my experience, was Michael Bublé. Because he sort of like, I think, and again, he's done a lot of reimaginations of of classic Christmas songs, but like his stuff, like that to me that's come close. You know, like every time I think of Christmas now, like Michael Bublé is kind of like on the periphery of that as well. Like if I hear a Michael Bublé Christmas song, I'm not sort of like, oh no, it's not, like that's not a Christmas song. It's like, okay, fair enough, it's Michael Bublé sort of thing.
I think he gets a bad rap. I mean, that album only came out in 2011, and if you actually look into like, I mean, I guess some people just reject Michael Bublé, just the thought of him, and his voice just annoys people.
Conceptually, I disagree with what he stands for.
But yeah, if you're breaking down from a musical standpoint, I mean, I maybe those haters don't actually disagree with this, but I mean, there's so much musical value in them, and it's crazy that album only came out in 2011. I think, I don't know. It feels like it's existed for longer. It does lean on the old jazz traditions of like original Christmas music, I guess.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor Swift wrote a Christmas song last year, and maybe these songs maybe just need, like, they might not have like the splash hit that that, I mean, I'm not even sure if these old Christmas songs were splash hits. I mean, I assume some of them were, but that's the weird thing, isn't it? It's like, I think obviously they get they're almost like it's like a ripple that then like turns into a tidal wave a lot of the time, like in terms of like taking again like All I Want for Christmas as an example. Like, it didn't hit Christmas #1 the year it came out, but like it's just gotten bigger and bigger every year to the point where now it's Christmas #1 like 26 years after it was written. And like what I find really interesting is that like bands now that are to most people only known as having that one Christmas song, like they obviously have a whole other catalogue of music, like Slade, for example, who do Merry Christmas Everyone. Merry Christmas Everybody. Like I have a story about that, but we'll get onto that in a second. But like they were a rock band from the 1970s, and my Amy's dad, he's like a massive fan of sort of like 70s hard rock, and he's got a vinyl of Slade playing, I think it's Glastonbury Live in like 1971 or something. And like they're a heavy rock band, man, and like they properly blow the roof off places, and everyone there was like, oh, it's just Slade, they just have that one Christmas song, and like they're like the Who, like they're a proper like heavy rock band, but like now they're just only known for that one Christmas song. And so like I think that's quite interesting as well, where like kind of, you know, you have like it over time, like if you do make it into the Christmas canon, the hallowed Western Christmas canon, you know, like it becomes all you're known for. So it's really, really interesting. And like I think there's almost two sort of schools of to me at least, there seem to be sort of two schools of Christmas song, maybe three, but like you have ones that sort of lean back on the sort of the jazz thing, and then, you know, and for what I'm thinking of, kind of like even like All I Want for Christmas Is You, like the you know, sort of like even the chord progression, sort of like that kind of like G to E minor to C to D sort of thing, like that's a like 1950s doo-wop progression, you know, sort of taken out, and again sort of like, you know, going to the 4 and then the 4 minor, sort of like there's a lot of kind of like jazzy elements in there which they've taken and obviously you know, stuck over underneath a pop track. And then there's sort of the rock side of it, like sort of taking you know, Merry Christmas Everybody as an example, and sort of like they sort of goes away from the jazz tradition completely and then just plays around with like, you know, sort of like heavier rock elements and sort of like, you know, sort of more modern key changes and things like that as well. So it's interesting, sort of like the two kind of like diverging things that go down. And then obviously like the sort of the straight like pop route as well. I'm thinking of like Last Christmas by
Wham. But then again, even that, like, it's got that kind of like, it's like a 1-6-4-5. Again, it's just like a doo-wop in D as opposed to in G for like All I Want for Christmas Is You. So like there are elements that are drawn in that kind of like make it sound Christmassy. You know, when you hear it, it's like, oh yeah, that's a Christmas song.
Yeah, I watched quite a few videos really deep diving and analyzing why some songs sound more Christmassy or more wintry as a result. And it's basically like really like most or almost like 99% of Christmas music has really conservative, like by the book harmony. It's like jazz, but it's like if you boil it down, if you really take out the fat of all the extensions and all the dressing up and stuff like that, it is basically just a bunch of 2-5-1s and then maybe a major 4 and a minor 4, most things. And there was, I think Andrew Huang does a really good analysis of the 2-5-1s in Christmas music. There's also another video which you should check out. It's by this YouTube channel called 8-Bit Music Theory. They mainly analyze like game music and like Mario music, and because some of that game music is like absolutely incredible in terms of the arrangement.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They basically boiled down one of like the winter Mario games, and it's like, why does this sound so wintry and Christmassy? And it was and the harmony is it's dressed up obviously to make it sound good, but the bare bones of it is, you know, just like 2-5-1s or like just like fifths, and the whole feeling of resolution to like the 5-1 is just so like it's just like what's the word, just like nailed, like driven into the ground, done loads basically. But yeah, it's super interesting because like then you start noticing it once you've done the harmonic analysis and you start listening to all these songs. It's just like, oh, it's actually all the same song. Pretty much. But then I guess it's special when someone breaks out of that a bit or has an original take on it, you know?
Exactly.
And then at the end of the day, just add sleigh bells to your track, right? And then that's gonna make it sound
there are so many sleigh bells in so many. Like I was listening to I had a Christmas playlist on. We went shopping yesterday, and then we have one home in the car, and it's like, they're just everywhere, and like that obviously just gives you that sort of feeling of it being Christmassy as well. Just hearing sleigh bells. Which
I've got a question. Like, do you think that you would ever, as Leo Kelly G, so me, Johnny Chung, asking you, like, would you ever, would you record a Christmas song, to put it simply?
Oh yes, absolutely. I think I would. We actually, we've been working on one, Bethany Graves and I, for about 1.5 years now, where like we have. She came up with the idea of the Christmas song, and we've just been sort of like playing around with sort of like bits and like working around together, but it just offers a slightly different take on stuff. And like we definitely didn't sort of like hang around with the like we weren't sort of 2-5-1ing all over the place with that one, but again, like we as we were doing it, like we were sort of thinking of sort of like all of the sort of conventions of Christmas music, and we're like, oh yeah, like, you know, put sleigh bells in it potentially, like, you know, is like, I think also having like sort of children singing parts of it as well is another really big thing, sort of like, you know, because it evokes that idea of exactly. So like that obviously evokes the real feeling of like, you know, singing Christmas carols and sort of like, which is like, you know, but like you know, I guess it's just, you know, it's just like piling nostalgia on top of nostalgia, and like just sort of like crystallizing it into this little like, you know, 3-minute nostalgia, you know, like I don't know what you call it, like a little kernel, you know, like a, you know, this really condensed sort of like rock that you can just sort of like hurl at the radio stations kind of thing, and it just, you know,
every November and December,
every November and December, you know. But yeah, I think I would like again, like if it fitted in with sort of like what I sort of stood for as an artist, and sort of like, you know, I wouldn't like I wouldn't go against what I'd want to write, like just to write a Christmas song kind of thing. Like, you know, if I was going for the sort of like acoustic singer-songwriter thing and just going, right, I'm going to write a straight out pop track, you know, and like just completely break with everything they've done before. But like, you know, if it was tastefully done and it fit in.
Because there are like massive artists that basically haven't recorded a Christmas song yet, and they're like, why? They're sort of figuring out why. But I think one of the ones I read was Barry Gibb and the Bee Gees. they haven't actually recorded a Christmas song, even though I feel like generally you'd think that they'd be one of the bands that would have done that.
Would have done it, yeah.
And apparently they have recorded a Christmas track in the past, but it was released as like a B-side on a single. So, and it wasn't like a proper, like no proper thought was actually put into it. So, it's interesting. I feel like just like artists' relationship with Christmas music, and like you have people that just like are a bit of a Scrooge and just like hate Christmas music specifically. They just hate the whole aesthetic and the cheeriness of it. But yeah, I think it's interesting, artists as a collective, how they treat it. Is it just a commercial opportunity, or is it a genuine expression of their artistry, you know? And in my personal opinion, as a eternal optimist, it's like I think it's I think there is a lot of room and opportunity to be genuine about it, because it's not going away, you know, Christmas.
No, it's certainly not.
So you might as well make the most of it and make some nice music as a result of it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I'd be curious, like, to find out how much like record label pressure goes into it as well. Because obviously, you know, true. You're contractually obliged with a record label, you know, to produce however many albums. And I wonder whether the record labels do sort of lean on that and kind of go like, you know, you could always bring out a Christmas album this year, you know, and just like see how it goes, kind of thing. Because like a lot of like, I think the interesting thing I always find is like sometimes they're not sort of just Christmas songs that are released. Like Justin Bieber has a Christmas album, you know, of like. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, original Christmas music, and it's like it's a whole album's worth of Christmas music, and it's like I don't know, like personally, like Christmas, obviously, you know, like there are a multitude of emotions that you can have at Christmas time, but like an album's worth, like if you got like 12 different ways you can like write a Christmas song, kind of thing.
I mean, loads of like, artists have released Christmas albums, so I don't really know.
I like, as in like it's doable, like it can be done, obviously, and it's been done. But I'm just like wondering whether like there's like a sense of obligation sort of creeps in if you're like, oh, we're gonna write a Christmas album, and like, you know, you've got like you have to write 12 songs about Christmas. Like I couldn't write 12 songs about Christmas. I could write one, maybe two, but like, you know,
I mean, most of them, like, I guess most Christmas albums are cover albums. So if you're writing an original album of Christmas tunes, which I think Jamie Cullum did this year, actually. He released it's called The Piano Man at Christmas, and I had to listen through it. I mean, it's all right. It's a Jamie Cullum album.
It's Jamie Cullum, yeah.
But I think artists just have to do it. Like it's just beneficial for you to do it and not like be a hater. Every year there'll be a reason for you to stay relevant by making one recording, you know. There's like I think you sort of have to take advantage of these seasons rather than reject them. Like I know Phoebe Bridgers has like Christmas songs, and she has a song called Halloween, and now she's just set. It's going to be on a playlist every year for Halloween and for Christmas. You're going to just get random streams because of it, or like people are going to buy it as a result. And like it just makes so much sense for you to do it. So make a genuine take on it, you know. Yeah,
it's a good point, actually. And like, and that's another really interesting part of sort of the Christmas thing, is that like there's definitely but like whether it's a result or an intention, but like there is a massive financial benefit to writing a Christmas hit. Like I think it's Slade. They get like £500,000 a year from having written a Christmas song. You know, just because it gets played all over, you know, Western radio stations every year, and so they make £500,000 a year, and they have been making that since, you know, whenever it was released in I can't remember the date of it, but like, you know, for 40 plus years they've been making £500,000 a year for releasing one song, you know.
One song, yeah.
You know, so like clearly, you know, there is definitely there's a financial benefit in doing it as well. And I guess maybe that's the other thing, that like why a lot of people hate on people bringing out Christmas sort of music, because like regardless of the intention behind it, whether you are genuinely trying to make really good music, like I think if it doesn't, you know, if you don't sort of like crack into the canon, like I think a lot of people could interpret it as a shameless sort of like cash grab of just like trying to release something where it's going to come out over Christmas and it's going to make you money kind of thing. And so like it's just and I think if it doesn't make it into the canon, like I think it comes off as that then, like it's sort of, it's very much a like sort of championship or bust sort of to use an NBA analogy, sort of like way of writing, sort of like either you make it into the canon and everyone goes, okay, fantastic, it's a really great song, or you don't, and then it's like, oh, he's just shamelessly trying to make it into the canon, to be set for life, sort of financially kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there is an element of that being interpreted, but then at the end of the day, I think that's just a hater's mindset, like. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying, like, I feel like that's the way it's, by a lot of people, that's the way it is interpreted, or it can be interpreted, sort of like the. Right or wrong, like that's definitely an interpretation that exists, I think. Yeah. Sure. But I guess like what are your favorite Christmas memories of in terms of like music? I guess we have played some Christmas gigs in the past, but I don't know, like in terms of your listening and like playing, I'm just curious. I don't think we haven't really talked about it that much as friends. So
no, we haven't actually. We've done a lot of playing together at Christmas, but not a lot of in terms of listening, I think some of my favorite Christmas songs, I'm a real sucker for sort of like, obviously like the old sort of like Nat King Cole classic stuff, and Frank Sinatra and Bing Crosby. I've done a lot of playing in care homes at Christmas. I've done a lot of sort of Christmas gigs and things with Amy as well, which has been really nice. And they're all sort of like, just classic, just like singing, like, because a lot of the people nowadays in the care homes are sort of in their 80s. So if you think sort of, when you count back, they're born in the late 1930s, early 1940s. And so you play the classics for them because that's what they're going to remember. So like I've got real fond memories playing those and sort of learning them and working out the harmonies and just sort of like just having a really good time singing those. Obviously singing like Christmas carols in school is another really sort of fond memory, sort of like singing I was thinking like God rest you merry gentlemen and songs like that, sort of like in assembly, like just with everyone else, is again really, really fond sort of memories. And then in terms of like playing, I think it's definitely like sort of from university onwards, there've been loads of really fantastic sort of looks. We did the only year that I was in charge of house band, from 2017 to 2018. The first gig that the house band had was a Christmas gig, sort of like with the first gig with the new people who came in that year, and that was one of the best gigs that I've. I didn't even play that gig. Like I rehearsed the band and then just like stood back and watched them. But like it was like everyone had so much fun, and like I had so much fun watching everyone just like playing through these amazing songs. Like that was really, really good fun. The gig that we did, was it? No, it was. We haven't quite got to it yet. It was the 18th last year, wasn't it? But when we played over at McCann with our function band, that was a heck of a lot of fun.
That was hilarious because I guess that was one of the moments that we had to learn quite a few Christmas tunes for it, and I don't know if you remember this this story, but basically we decided to play both the songs Merry Christmas Everybody and Merry Christmas Everyone in the same set. And I was on keyboards for both of the songs, and it wasn't like the gig wasn't cobbled together, but obviously you have to cobble a bit for the Christmas songs because you only play them at a certain time of the year. And I don't know which way around it was, but I basically just played the other one. Like we called Merry Christmas Everybody, and I started playing Merry Christmas Everyone, which is a completely different song. Yeah. And I couldn't stop because I was just playing it and hammering away, and everyone just kind of with a horrified look, just like looking over. I was hammering away. I was like doot 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 doot. Which shows like a lot of the songs sound very similar, or at least harmonically speaking, as a person who just kind of projects chord progressions in certain keys to be able to play songs as a non-singer. It was just hilarious, and I'll forever have the image of you guys looking over at me. Just like, utter horror. Oh god, And especially, I think it was Chris in our band who sings. He just had to like switch up the song basically. Because obviously you can't just wing it with the chords. You have to actually remember an entire different song in order to sing it. But I guess we
had to like re-download like the lyric schematic in his head quickly and just no, not that song, like change it. But I mean like in fairness to you, like, you know, Merry Christmas everybody and Merry Christmas everyone, like, come on, so man. Close in name as well, like, you know, how, like, you know, if there was ever going to be like, you know, two songs to confuse, like, fair enough, it's definitely those. I always get it's Merry Christmas everybody, and even now I'm doing it, I can't even remember the two. There's because you have there's the one that's like, so here it is, Merry Christmas, everybody's, and then how's the other one go? Oh my god, this happens every year. Like there's the two I get mixed up because it's Slade and Wizard. The two, and like in my head because they both have the same sort of like they have the similar sort of like feel and the similar sort of like time signature and everything. That like I can't. How's the other one go? Snowman brings the snow and the snowman brings the snow. You're hanging your stocking. So here it is, Mary. No, that's the
same song.
That's the same one. What's the other one? I'll let the bells ring out for Christmas.
That one. Yeah.
Is
that the Wizard song? Because I hate the production on that song. That's like
I think that's the Wizard song. But
I just know it's the Wizard song that just sounds like absolute. Like maybe it's just the age of the recording and it wasn't remastered or something. But it just, I don't know, it just sounds like it's all over the place.
Yeah.
For me. It's like it's got that, I guess, wall of sound thing, which is like this Phil Spector Christmas thing. I don't know if we produced that track, but
Phil Spector does Christmas.
It's like it just sounds like an onslaught to my ears in terms of how it was mixed and mastered.
The wall of sound comes down the chimney and knocks over the mince pie table. I know what you mean. I think that one, it really interests me though. The one that's so here it is, Merry Christmas, everybody's having fun. Because like it has, I remember when we were learning it, like it has like a random bar of 7 to go into the bridge.
Sure.
So it's like, look to the future now, it's only just begun. Da 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 da. And it's like. I just remember listening to that and it's always going like, what the hell? Why would you do that in a Christmas song and just like randomly stick a bar of 7/8 in, change key completely, and then like go back? It's like it's a really interesting way to. But obviously, you know, it works and it's iconic now. But like I'd love to have been in the studio at the time where like the guy just went, right, okay, we're going to put a bar of 7 in, and everyone's like, are you sure? Like, John, are you sure that's a good idea? Like, yeah, mate, it'll be great. They'll love it. But what are your? Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I've lost my train of thought now. You can ask me the question again.
Oh, I was just going to so like the same question back to you. Like, what are your favorite memories of Christmas songs, and what are your favorite like playing experiences and stuff?
There's probably some that I've just completely forgotten, but I guess gigging around Christmas is just fun. I think the hardest part of it is just learning the songs again every year. I just like Fairy Tale of New York. I just will never ever remember the structure to that song. Like,
no.
It is just the worst, and the problem is that you're expected to know it, and I feel like in the public like knowledge base, like everyone knows exactly how it goes, and if even I place a beat off, like they're gonna know. Maybe one day I'll finally conquer that song, but I don't know. Not that I hate it, you know. I don't want to be. No.
It's an amazing song.
It's just frustrating to play specifically.
That's so true, isn't it? That it's because like a lot of the time as well, like they're not. Weirdly enough, they're not easy songs to play, despite having really recognizable harmony and sort of having these tropes and conventions. A lot of Christmas songs are not necessarily easy to play either.
Yeah, especially with the arrangements as well, because a lot of them have those like string parts or brass parts. Like like if you're trying to play it as a smaller band without the resources or the size or the gig.
Exactly. You've got a lot to kind of like pull together and make work. But then conversely, like when you do have a really big band, like sort of like when you work out all the parts, like you have to get it absolutely dead on. Because like it's weird, isn't it? Yeah, because like everyone, because also like at the point of you know, sort of when you're playing it live, like when you get to the Christmas part of the set, like most people are inebriated somewhat. You know, and
all they want to do is just holler along to the
they just want to shout along. So like, but if you mess it up, man, like the rage and fury you get from people is real.
Like a drunken person coming up to you being like, you missed the freaking beat in the second verse in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. Like the one in Fairy Tale New York that always gets me is like it's the last time after you get the first break where you have like the da 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 da. And there's 3 bars instead of 2, and like I always want to like my brain always wants to work in like 2s and 4s, so it wants to be like the da 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 the boys, but it's not. It's the da 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 2 3 and it always catches me out every time.
Even you trying to count it there is giving me some counting trauma right now.
yeah, like it always messes me up, that one. And then what's the other one? There's like. It's the chord at the end of the chorus for All I Want for Christmas Is You every time. Like is a really strange like an extra chord, and I can't remember what it is. It's like a C, like it's like a 4th minor with something else in it, and like every time I think it's like a 4th minor, like but with a D in like with a 5 in the bass. It's like that, like, and like by itself it sounds horrible, but like it just works in the context of the song. Like every time I think of that, it just gives me trauma as well, because like I can't when I hear it on the recording, I'm like, oh no, what's the chord, and like that. So there's lots clearly between us, there's quite a few like traumatic Christmas memories of playing as well. Like
maybe we just need to do more Christmas gigs and we just nail it into our heads, you know. In the future,
like maybe next year, like you know, sort of coronavirus and everything permitting, like we just have to sit down in like September and just be like, right, we're going to nail every single Christmas song. Like, so when it comes to mid-November, like we're ready to go.
We're not cramming the pogues.
Yeah. Because that's always the thing as well. I've found like every year that I've played Christmas functions, like there's always an element of cramming, of just like, you know, like, and because there's always loads of songs. There's like 20 songs to learn. It's like, and it's always left right until like the end of November, like, you know, a week before the first Christmas gig, and it's, oh my God, I've got 20 songs to learn again. And you get to the end of the Christmas period and you're like, okay, we've played these loads now, surely we won't forget those. And then it comes around next year and you're like, I'm just forgetting, it just gets completely wiped out of your memory.
It expires a month after December. You know?
And it all just goes again. It's so weird, man. And it's like, and maybe that's like, sort of bringing it back to the whole like nostalgia thing. Maybe that's why Christmas music sort of like, it works the way it does, because like come January the 1st, it's just like whoosh, like it just the radio stations go completely silent, you hear nothing, and then they just kick it back up again in like mid-November. So maybe that's why it is as well, and it's just like, you know, just the whole of the Western world just has this collective like amnesia for Christmas, and then it just comes back again.
I just had a memory of us sitting in your car. I we're doing some sort of gear drop off or something. And I really wanted to listen to Magic FM for some reason, like it was like a late night drive, and we put it on, and we just could not get any non-Christmas music. And it was just really frustrating, and we just wanted anything else, and it was in your car where we couldn't like plug a phone in or anything. your old one,
stuck in the old Fiat, like just listening to nothing but Christmas songs.
So what would you rank as your favorite, maybe 3 Christmas songs?
My favorite 3? Wow. Okay. That's a really good question, and it's go on. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, because I saw Emily Blunt answer this on the Fallon show, Tonight Show recently.
Oh right.
Like, I'm gonna bring that question. I mean, it's a very uninspiring question, like in terms of what it is, but I don't know. I'm curious. As of this moment.
As of right now, I think my top one for a while, and probably maybe always will be, Fairy Tale of New York, just because of the fact that, like, I don't know, it gives you that sort of, and again, it's not a particularly happy song, that one, but like, I think I love the chord progression in it. I love the way it just moves through, like it just has that really sort of like nice sort of nostalgic feeling, you know, that kind of when it just, like, for some reason that like every time I hear that, it just makes me forget. You're just like it reminds me of like sitting in. I think it's got a weird like you almost like a school like carol vibe to it. Maybe that's what it is. Like just that starting
Sure.
bit, it just brings back those sort of Christmas memories. And the fact that it's a duet, like I always sing when we're in the car together, Amy and I, we always sing the harmony parts together. So that's always really fun. So that's definitely my top one. My second favorite is probably it's hard, man. It's probably something by Nat King Cole. Maybe Merry Christmas to You, like, because it's just it's just absolutely classic. And then maybe to sort of like split the difference and put one in the middle, maybe it might be Merry Christmas Everyone, actually, just because again it's just like there's really like fond memories. Merry Christmas Everyone as opposed to Merry Christmas Everybody, by Shakin' Stevens.
Sure.
Mostly because like I didn't realize who Shakin' Stevens was until I started doing care home gigs, and I found out that like a load of the people in their 70s and 80s were massive fans of Shakin' Stevens. So like I learned all these Shakin' Stevens songs, and then it came to Christmas and they were like, oh, can you do that Shakin' Stevens song? And I was like, oh, what song do you mean? And they were like, and then I was like, oh my god, that's Shakin' Stevens as well. So that sort of really blew my mind. So I think they're probably my top three. Damn, Steve! Like the dude was good, man. He knew how to shake it. Did Steve?
It was as advertised.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Fairy Tale of New York, Merry Christmas to You, and Merry Christmas Everybody would be my top three. What about you?
I mean, I'm quite a sucker for like alternative genre interpretations of Christmas music. I think R&B is like amazing.
Are you going down to James Brown? Are you Santa Claus went straight to the ghetto?
Well, those are albums, and I sort of enjoy a lot of music, like Christmas music, slightly ironically. So the Michael McDonald's 5 Christmas albums, like insane, and James Brown's Funky Christmas, PJ Morton's PJ Morton's like Christmas album, which he re-released this year. Just like Stevie Wonder versions of it. Actually, Stevie Wonder's done some Christmas music. But anyway, I think overall, I think my favorite Christmas song so far that I've ever listened to is This Christmas by Donny Hathaway. Are you frozen? No, you're not frozen.
I'm here. No, I'm here. I was trying to remember. I don't think if I've heard it, I can't remember how it goes.
It's like this Christmas, on the mistletoe. And I just really love the harmony on that song. And this Christmas is here, very Merry Christmas. That one. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And I was learning the bass line to it recently, and it's like, yeah, it's pretty like Motown inspired as well. And Donny Hathaway is amazing. And then obviously I have a personal bias for Christmas in LA by Wolfpack.
Of course.
No shame there. I think it's I mean, obviously it's not like a smash hit or anything. It's only really a Wolfpack, like if you know Wolfpack, you know the song. But
or if you're from Los Angeles, probably.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like it's cool that they like early on in their career they've composed a Christmas song that is original. It's got like a pretty original concept, I think, of it being Christmas and it's sunny in California. And and obviously it's just an awesome song. And then I guess something classic like the Christmas song or Have Yourself a Merry Christmas. Has some good memories just playing it at gigs, and it's got I don't know, it just goes down well in terms of that like dinner style Christmas music. But I'm obviously a sucker for jazz interpretations of Christmas music and any sort of weird spin to it that makes you like, it doesn't have to be good. I think at the end of the day, Christmas music, it just has to like give you a bit of, like little dopamine rush. I love that like caveat as a, like, it hasn't got to be good. It's just got to be. Just has to be. It's like, it's neither good or bad, like it's not like maybe objectively it's generic, or objectively like it's a bit dumb or cheesy, or it's like you don't want to base your entire artistic career on it. You don't want to become Slade. Or maybe you do want to become Slade. I don't know. Yeah. So it sounds like a pace. Maybe you do. But those would be my three. And then obviously those albums littered in. I'm always curious to see like who releases Christmas music every year as well. I mean, I check out music like loads anyway.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to see like what artists are up to and why they've done things, you know.
I think I mean, like Taylor Swift brought out a Christmas song last year. I think like of all years, maybe this was the one to do it instead. Like she could have just like like tacked like, you know, a little Christmas song on the end of Evermore, and like that would have been, she would have been set. This, like, you know, if anyone was going to break into the canon this year, like it would have been Taylor Swift, you know, after Folklore and Evermore. You know, just tack a little, just a cheeky little, like, you know, like 3-minute Christmas song on the end, you know, and everyone would have gone absolutely nuts. I'm sure. But
maybe that song will make will last.
I mean, maybe she'll write another 12 songs and just release them on Christmas Eve or something. Like it may well happen. So what in terms of like I guess moving away from music slightly, like Christmas plans and everything this year, obviously you're over in Hong Kong as you are for most Christmases, but like what are your plans for Christmas this year, and sort of like what's the deal with coronavirus and everything going on over there?
Yeah, well, there's going to be slightly more restrictions. I mean, I never, like in my family from Hong Kong, we never really do a proper Christmas meal like the UK or Western way. In terms of the massive like meal and oven food and stuff like that, pigs and banquets, Brussels sprouts, all that jazz. And jazz as well. I mean, there will definitely be lots of jazz listened to.
All that jazz.
But yeah, it would just be spending time with the family, maybe go shopping, which is not a UK thing. I think on Christmas Day, people, like, it's very much like a ghost town. But I mean, in the past few years, I have done Christmas meals with like friends and stuff, but obviously not this year. But just be kind of standard. And what about you? I
mean, we're very, very Western in my family, and so it'll be
what?
It'll be a very traditional, but a bit different. Because I've never spent Christmas with Amy as my wife, and obviously, you know, like we always we've been living apart since we started going out almost 9 years ago now, and so it'll be nice to like wake up on Christmas morning next to my wife for the first time ever, which would be quite interesting. Then I've always spent Christmas at what was my parents' house, which was still my parents' house, but was my house as well. It's not my house anymore. So this is the first Christmas where like we're not going around my parents' house, and Amy's family are coming to us instead. So like I've never like cooked a full Christmas dinner before. I've helped out with it, but I've never like had the sole responsibility of a Christmas dinner resting on my head before, which I'm really excited for. I really want to, we've been testing out like recipes and sort of working out, what to do, what not to do. I'm vegan, Amy's vegetarian, and so like we're going to cook lots of that stuff. Amy's parents are cooking the turkey and bringing that over, but then we're doing everything else. And so like I'm just really excited to like just basically just cook a load of stuff for like 2 days. Just spend like 2 days in the kitchen, just like chopping and cooking and baking and preparing everything. It's going to be awesome. So yeah, that's our Christmas plans this year. It should be quite nice.
Nice.
But yeah, man,
it's I mean, obviously it's a weird year to be celebrating Christmas. I was watching some Christmas videos earlier just to get in the mood for this, and like it just feels very like dissociative to look at people in Christmas gear and being like like when there's so much going on in the world. But, yeah, I mean it's a cheesy way to put it, but maybe it's also like sorely needed as well, you know. Just just have some sort of excuse to have a normal thing this year, you know.
I think people need, like, you know, it's just a bit of it's a bit of escapism and a bit of a break from reality, you know, just for a little bit. You know, just to be able to sort of, you know, just come together, because it has been a hell of a, I mean, you know, and I think as well it's worth sort of like thinking that, like, you know, for a lot of people, like for us it's been a hell of a year, but like for some people it's a hell of a year every year, you know, coronavirus or not. And, you know, so like, you know, I think everyone needs just that little bit of like, you know, it's nice to have an excuse just not to think about sort of like the day-to-day drudgery of life, you know, and just to be able to sort of think about, you know, other things, just, you know, even just for a little while, you know, just to get out of your own life for a bit and just, you know, just enjoy a bit of Christmas, you know, if that's possible and if that's what you want to do, obviously, if that fits in with your, you know, the way you do things around December the 25th and 24th. But yeah, man. Well, in that case, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas.
Well, to the listener, really.
Yes.
I hope you. Wait, unless you were actually saying that to me. Have a very Wolfie, wonderful Christmas.
Yeah. First to you personally, and then to everyone listening as well. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas, and we look forward to seeing you. Well, just after Christmas first for our year in review episode, and then in the new year with season 2, which we're really excited.
Season 2 hype.
Season 2 is coming to bring season 2 to you guys as well.
And also stream Christmas Again by Jonathan Blake.
Yes,
who is, I think, the only Christmas song that I know that we've had in terms of guests on the show, unless someone like Phil's done a Christmas. But in terms of our actual recording, I think JB might be the only one, and it's not like the most positive Christmas song, but it is a Christmas song.
It's an original Christmas song. So yeah, if you're looking for original Christmas music, and if you want to get, if you want a new song in the Christmas canon, then if you guys stream it, you get it that much closer to breaking into the the Western Christmas canon. So you know,
make
every
Jonathan
stream counts,
Blake the
guys.
next Slade.
Make Jonathan Blake the next Slade. It may, you know, when was it released? Was it 2018?
Something like, I think it might be earlier. So I think it's 2016 or something.
2016. So in 26 years, like Mariah Carey in 2042, it may reach Christmas number 1. And so, you know, if we start now, then you know, we'll get there. So yeah, make sure you stream Christmas Again by Jonathan Blake as well. Guest number 1 on the podcast.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Sonic Bytes. If you liked what you heard, follow us on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, or Google Podcasts, or like the video on YouTube and follow the channel Leo Kelly G Music. Also, you can reach out to us in the YouTube comments or send us a message on Twitter or Instagram. We would love to hear from you, so stay tuned for another episode coming very soon.